The events in this program are inspired by a true story. Names, dates, and details have been changed. Viewer discretion is advised. On this episode of Bizarre Murders.
Some of the cars are worth a lot of money.
Like how much?
When three young men suddenly leave town,
No way.
a friend is convinced something is terribly wrong.
Gone. Disappeared.
But there's no evidence of foul play and no reason for detectives to investigate. Until a regular beat cop starts asking questions.
Well, feeling a bit sorry for ourselves, are we?
And makes a chilling discovery. Will his determination to uncover the truth pay off? Or will someone get away with murder?
Oh, no.
Go on, bro.
Simon and Seth are close-knit brothers, less than a year apart in age, who live for football. Simon's a respected quarterback, while Seth plays wide receiver. They easily made it into college on full sports scholarships. The brothers went to the same high school as Aiden, but they came from different social crowds.
It's a lot easier to catch it than to toss it, I think.
See that?
But they did have some things in common.
1, 2, 3.
Nice. I'd say that's a touchdown.
Namely, smoking grass.
You smell? Nice.
And fantasy card games.
You tell anyone about this, and your ass is grass. That's funny, grass.
And any of your subhuman compadres mess with me, your pot supply suddenly gets stuck at the border.
Harsh talk, dude.
Yeah, that's my game, folks. Don't take it so harsh, gentlemen. Consolation prize.
Here are your math assignments. Nice.
There you go. Cheers to that, baby.
Sweet.
One more, folks?
I know what you're thinking. Why would these guys be hanging out together? We all know high school is a pressure cooker full of competing cliques. Come to think of it, it's a lot like law enforcement. But that same environment can produce some surprising friendships. And when you got something in common, like gaming, brains and brawn can get along just fine.
From the moment they had thrown their first football, the brothers had dreamed of making it to the NFL. But they got blindsided in their final year when they didn't make the draft pick. And now they've come back home, tails between their legs, to live with their mother, Michelle, and figure out what to do with their lives. Unlike his jock buddies, Aiden never went to college. He didn't have to. After high school, he got a high-paying job programming an online version of Demon Wrath, his favorite game. It's a far cry from his years as a lonely geek teenager. He's got money, a career, and the respect of the programming community. The only trace of his high school days is a lingering anxiety. But instead of pot, he now relies on designer medication to keep himself level.
Can't believe we haven't seen this dude since high school, bro. Wonder if he's still into that awesome fantasy card game.
Probably, bro. You know, I hear he's got a stack of money now. Apparently he's some big-time computer guy. So what do you think?
This is a really nice place.
Thank you.
Doing well for yourself, man.
Oh, there's something you folks have to see. You remember this?
Whoa, dude. Blast from the past.
See, bro, I knew it. The cool card game. So you still collect these Demon Wrath cards?
Oh yeah, I've got hundreds now. Some of them worth a lot of money.
Like how much?
Thousands, my friend. So, ready to slay some demons?
Totally. All right. Do you have anything to smoke, though?
Are you serious? Nah, I gave that up a while ago.
The brothers spend the summer trying to find executive positions in the sports industry. But the best they can get are retail jobs at a local sporting goods store.
Turn those frowns upside down, boys.
It's just until something better comes along.
When's that gonna happen, Mom?
You can still coach, bro.
Coaching's for losers, bro. You know, this sucks, bro. We should be driving 4x4s by now.
Yeah, you said it, bro.
Well, 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 if it isn't the football brothers. So this is what a college degree looks like, is it?
No, sir.
Feeling a bit sorry for ourselves, are we?
No, sir, we were just...
Listen, you boys listen to me. I played college ball too. I didn't make it to the big time either. But did I loiter around? No. I made something of myself. So just pull up your jock straps and make your mother proud.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Now scram.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Next time I won't be so understanding.
Officer O'Farrell is one of those cops who just loves to walk his beat. He grew up in this neck of the woods, and he's been patrolling it for decades. He never made detective because he never wanted to. His place is in the streets, I get that, looking out for the citizens. He knows everyone, and everyone knows him. And don't let that lowly rank fool you. A good beat cop sees all and knows all.
Okay, guys, let's take a break. I have something you guys have to see. You know what this is? Gentlemen, I would like to introduce you to the Big Beast. It is the most valuable Demon Wrath card in existence. There are only 5 in the world.
Oh, it looks awesome, dude.
How much is it worth?
25,000. It's a brave new world, gentlemen. The geek shall inherit the earth. Oh wait, we already have.
For the brothers, it's shocking that someone with only a high school diploma could be making that much money.
25 large on a gaming card? It's pretty outrageous, isn't it? It makes the brothers think about just how much things have changed since high school. Those Friday night lights are a memory, and so far a college education hasn't gotten them anywhere close to the kind of cash their buddy Aiden is throwing around. It makes the brothers think pretty hard about their future prospects. I mean, they can't sell football cleats and shoulder pads forever. In their minds, they're playing on the losing team.
Aiden's best friend is Bree.
Hey,
Hey,
Like the brothers, she's just graduated college. She's opening her own comic book store in the neighborhood with a little help from Aiden's extensive collection.
what's on your mind?
I don't know. Just after seeing the brothers makes me think that some people peak in high school, that's it for them. I don't want to be one of those guys. And I think I'm gonna move downtown. I can afford it now. I can get out of the suburbs.
Are you sure? It's a big step and I miss you.
I don't know, I'm thinking about it. I gotta go.
I think that's an interesting thing.
This one piece will make 52 layers.
Watch on mobile devices or the big screen. All for free. No subscription required.
When Bree shows up with Aiden's medication the following day, he isn't home. But the door is open, and it looks like he left in a hurry.
What the hell? No way. I think they were the last ones to see Aiden.
Oh.
Michelle explains that her sons are storing some of Aiden's stuff while he moves downtown, but she hasn't seen them today.
Moving? Already, but that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, Aiden told his friend Bree he was thinking of leaving the suburbs, but he didn't say anything about pulling a fly-by-night vanishing act. And she knows Aiden can't go for very long without his meds. Something is definitely wrong with this picture. Bree knows it, and she's gonna do something about it.
When Bree discovers Aiden has abruptly left town with his jock friends, Simon and Seth, she tries to file a missing person report.
Officer O'Farrell, I need to talk to you about Aiden.
Aiden, how's your whiz kid friend?
He's gone. Disappeared.
Bree explains about Aiden missing their date. She says he relies on his anxiety medication and he would never just leave town without telling her.
It does seem a little odd. I'm sure everything's fine. Those football brothers are probably a bad influence on him. I'll look into it.
Now, even if it's unexpected, Aiden taking off is not enough to launch a missing persons investigation. It's strange, but it doesn't look like any crime has been committed. And O'Farrell, he isn't a detective anyway, but he knows Aiden, just like he knows everyone else in the neighborhood, and it seems out of character. He can't technically investigate, but if you've been in law enforcement long enough, you know there are ways to, let's just say, make inquiries without it being exactly official.
For the next 3 days, Officer O'Farrell uses the detective squad computer to monitor Aiden's bank and cell phone activity. But curiously, there isn't any.
In my experience, people take off for all sorts of reasons. But here we have a guy who medicates for anxiety, who skipped town without telling his best friend, whose phone is set to radio silence, and who doesn't seem to be spending any money. As an investigator, that's what I call cause for alarm. But who knows why people do what they do? Maybe Aiden's off his meds and freaking out somewhere. Maybe it's kidnapping or worse. Or maybe he's taking a few days for himself. You just never know. In any case, time for our beat cop to start asking around the neighborhood.
They just left all this stuff here and took off.
The brother's mother says she hasn't seen her sons since they came home 3 nights ago in a rental van full of Aiden's belongings. They told her they were helping Aiden move and needed to store some of his stuff temporarily.
Do you remember the name of the rental company?
Yes. Excess baggage. You know, Officer O'Farrell, boys will be boys, but this is ridiculous. Do you know their boss keeps calling?
Did you see or talk to Aiden at all?
No.
Officer O'Farrell learns that Aiden rented the moving van the night before Bree went to his house, but it wasn't returned to the same lot he rented it from. He thinks if he locates the van, he might find Aiden and the brothers.
What are you boys up to?
The van was returned to another company lot, miles away in the city.
Oh, boy.
Blood is the last thing Officer O'Farrell was expecting to find. He notifies the detective squad of the blood evidence, and it's sent to the lab for testing.
Whenever I'm looking for someone who's gone AWOL, I know the chances are they'll turn up safe and sound eventually because statistically that's what usually happens. But there's nothing like signs of violence to smack down that assumption. For Officer O'Farrell, that van's not just a clue to where the boys might be, it's a possible crime scene.
Two days after sending the blood sample to the lab, he gets a call from the brother's mother.
Well, they're here, safe and sound, and in a lot of trouble. Do you know they got fired from their jobs for not showing up this week?
So, lads, where you been?
The brothers tell Officer O'Farrell that when Aiden decided to ditch the suburbs for the city, he'd asked them to store his precious collections of comics and game cards. Then they drove him to Chicago and dropped him off at an L station downtown. That was the last they'd seen of him.
That was 5 days ago. Did you walk back from here?
Well, Aiden paid us a lot of money to move his stuff.
So we decided to party a bit. Another round of brewskis.
Bro, this place is filled with geeks, and there's not even a TV anywhere.
Okay, don't worry about it. Hey, beer over here.
The brothers say they bar hopped into the night and crashed in a hotel until Aiden's money ran out. Then they'd taken the train back home.
Which hotel? Where downtown was it?
Can't really remember. We were drinking a lot.
Simon, Seth, go outside and play ball or something, okay? I'll deal with you later. Officer O'Farrell. I didn't want to say anything when the boys were here, but I wanted to show you this. That's Arnie Sullivan's signature from 1948.
Michelle says her sons brought the signed football back from Chicago as a gift for her, but they'd forgotten to remove the $2,000 price tag.
That's pretty generous for two guys with no dough. O'Farrell thinks our boys know way more about what happened to Aiden than they're letting on. If it were me, I'd haul him down to the station, right? Wrong. Because this is the kind of situation cops everywhere dread. It looks really fishy, but the problem is, it could all have a perfectly reasonable explanation. Aiden could be trooping around Chicago looking for a new pad. So our patrolman has no grounds to arrest anyone. He's gonna need some evidence if he wants to color the bros.
Officer O'Farrell examines the security footage from the parking lot where he found the van. But even though it was rented in Aiden's name, Aiden himself is nowhere to be seen.
Just doesn't add up. Those boys are hiding something.
It's suspicious enough for the detective squad to arrange a search warrant for the brothers' house.
What's your recipe?
Just chocolate, bananas, throw a little bit of vanilla in there.
Open up, boys. Come on now.
After the boys leave, Officer O'Farrell searches the property and discovers marijuana. Which gives him an idea.
Oh, no. O'Farrell, here. Possible 187.
Okay, so there's nothing conclusive tying the brothers to Aiden's death. But he didn't get into that dumpster by himself, and they were probably the last people to see him alive. Not to mention, they took off when the cops arrived to search their house. And my guess is that Dumb and Dumber put Aiden in the dumpster because it was the only place they could think of. But it's all circumstantial. O'Farrell needs hard proof the brothers did this, or better yet, a confession, if he can find them.
With the discovery of Aiden's body, the missing person case has become a murder investigation. The last people known to have seen him are his friends, Simon and Seth, and they're now wanted for questioning. As the police put out an all-points bulletin on the brothers, Officer O'Farrell asks Aiden's friend Bree for help.
The coroner said it was blunt force trauma to the head.
I knew they had something to do with it. Those meatheads.
What are these? I found some in the van as well. Some kind of game?
A fantasy game. Aiden collected those. Some of them are worth a lot of money. I mean, a lot of money.
The boys are probably selling them. Any idea where?
In our scene, we do some on-the-side business sometimes. It's not always legit.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot, too.
Hello, boys.
End zone, bro. Bro!
How's the washroom?
Let's go, boys. Look, boys, it's the last down, and you got a lot of yardage to cover. You better start talking.
Honestly, sir, we didn't do anything.
But we fumbled. It's game over.
We were just selling cards.
Selling those cards to pay for a one-way trip out of town by the looks of it.
Just wanted the big beast. Shut up.
The big what?
Big beast to sell.
Seth tells Officer O'Farrell that they were hanging out with Aiden playing Demon Wrath.
You gonna bring out that big beast card and slay our asses or what?
No way, it's too powerful. That just wouldn't be playing fair.
You know what's not playing fair? You having all sorts of money while we slave away. It ain't right. We went to college, man.
Well, easy, bro.
Whatever.
Let's cool our jets, guys. Gonna go make some more tea.
I need another beer. We're out of brewskis. Go grab us a six-pack at the store.
Hey. What's going on?
Don't know what you're talking about.
Put it back.
You mean this?
Put the beast back.
Make me. Oh, you must really love the beast, huh?
No, give it back! Now, normally, Aiden's a laid-back guy, but he's also a collector, and when it comes to their stuff, collectors are a special kind of protective. That big beast card is Aiden's prized possession, and he ain't gonna let it go without a fight.
Too bad you suck at fighting.
Give it back, you mouth breather! That's it. I'm gonna call the cops.
Call me a mouth breather, bro.
I've seen 100 homicide situations like this one. Simon didn't plan to kill his buddy. He just wanted that card. But there was more to it than what the card was actually worth. It also symbolized everything he thought was unfair about his life. No money, no success, no future. I mean, why should some geek like Aiden have it all, right? Add some booze to that envy and frustration, and you've got a recipe for rage. And when Aiden actually fought back, well, it pushed Simon over the edge.
I don't know about this, bro.
Shut up.
Seth tells Officer O'Farrell that they knew Aiden was thinking about leaving the suburbs. So they rented a van using Aiden's credit card and tried to make it look like they were helping him move downtown. After dumping Aiden's body and stashing his belongings at their mother's house, they drove into Chicago with the valuable Demon Wrath cards. They'd managed to sell most of the cards at different gaming stores, but no one could afford the big beast until the store owner directed them to the Dragon's Hoard, a black market bar where collectors do business out of sight of the taxman.
Speakeasies, illegal poker parlors, motels selling stolen firearms. I've seen it all, but gaming cards and comic books? Hey, why should the geeks be left out of the black market after all? And if two jocks stumble in with the geek equivalent of Jimmy Hoffa's wristwatch looking to sell, well, business is business. But the brothers are now like all crooks with a suitcase full of money. They have a problem. What to do with it? After blowing a stack on an epic bender like they all do, they go back to their mama's house. I mean, what else would these knuckleheads do?
I knew coming home was the wrong play.
Shut up, bro.
This whole thing was a bad play from start to finish. But you'll have plenty of time to think about where you went wrong.
Simon is convicted of second-degree murder and sentenced to 25 years in prison. Seth is convicted on accessory charges and gets 15 years.
So this tale of a geek and his two jock friends didn't exactly turn out well. Maybe it was inevitable that they'd grow apart, but then envy reared its ugly head, and Aiden's success pushed the brothers over the line of scrimmage and into murder. With all that cash from Aiden's game cards, our boys thought they were dancing in the end zone. But they were just too dumb to know they'd never get away with it, and they really didn't count on some humble beat cop taking them down. So next time you want to commit murder, at least make sure you have a game plan. Better yet, don't make the play at all, because chances are you'll wind up like our dim-witted bros. For them, it's game over for good.
The events in this program are inspired by a true story. Names, dates, and details have been changed. Viewer discretion is advised. On this episode of Bizarre Murders, when a crusty spinster is murdered in her home, detectives have little to go on. Until someone starts to take on the victim's personality.
You minding my business?
And points the cops.
Do people believe in the afterlife?
Directly at the killer.
I know who killed me.
New Orleans, Louisiana, 2010. Firemen respond to a 911 call when neighbors notice smoke billowing out from under an apartment door. They quickly find the source of the fire, a burning couch. They also make a horrific discovery. The body is identified as 56-year-old Felicia, a nurse at the local retirement home.
Henry, back in your room. It's lunchtime. You're too skinny. You need to eat. Go on. Get.
Her abrasive, tough love style of nursing doesn't always sit well with her colleagues.
You minding my business? Because I don't need my business minded by you.
But that doesn't seem to bother her. Fear and grudging respect keep them quiet. Felicia prefers her own company to that of anyone else's and spends most of her breaks by herself.
Felicia's the kind of woman who doesn't suffer fools. She'll always tell it like it is, whether you want to hear it or not, and it isn't always pretty. It may be an efficient way to get the job done, but I'll tell you one thing, it doesn't win you a lot of friends.
Detective Alfred does his initial investigation and sees no sign of forced entry. After examining the body, detectives conclude that Felicia was likely sexually assaulted before the killer slit her throat. And while the apartment has been ransacked, there's no evidence that anything has been stolen.
There's a lot of evidence at the crime scene, but none of it is adding up. It looks like Felicia likely let her killer into her apartment, which means she knew him. but the motive doesn't seem clear. If it's a robbery gone bad, then what did they take? If it's a sex crime, then why did they toss the apartment? Either way, at least one thing is clear. The fire was an obvious attempt to destroy the crime scene.
The autopsy report reveals Felicia didn't have any carbon monoxide in her lungs, which confirms the detective's suspicion that the killer slit her throat, then set the fire to cover his tracks.
I'll be damned.
He also learns that Felicia was a virgin, which means she wasn't sexually assaulted.
Okay, well, this kind of puts a new spin on the 40-year-old virgin, doesn't it? Well, despite the fact that good old Felicia wasn't lucky in love, it's a solid clue for detectives because they can rule out sexual assault as a motive, which leads them with nothing. Nothing at all.
In an attempt to find out everything they can about Felicia's life, they track down her closest relative, her cousin Ray.
Hi, this is Detective Alfred calling. We're investigating the murder of your cousin Felicia.
He tells them Felicia was a spinster who had a very small circle of friends. And even at the retirement home where she worked, she mostly kept to herself.
Well, thank you very much. Have a good day.
Hoping to learn who might have a grudge against Felicia, Detective Alfred visits the retirement home where she worked.
I'd like to ask you a couple of questions about Felicia.
Felicia? She was, how do I put this? Focused.
So I've heard. Now, what were her routines like? Was anything strange about her?
It was like clockwork. Every morning she arrived 15 minutes early for her coffee. Same egg salad sandwich with tomatoes for lunch. Same afternoon cigarette breaks. Just enough time for 2 ciggies, she always said.
All right.
I can show you where she always took her breaks.
People have their routines, sure, but Felicia was highly regimented and she rarely strayed from her schedule, which can be a good lead for investigators. It not only makes it easy for them to track her movements right before she was killed, it limits the amount of people she may have had contact with. And that, my friends, if you follow my logic, limits the number of suspects.
Is there anything else you can tell me about her?
Just as Detective Alfred wraps up his interview, Letitia spots something strange.
Oh my God, it's her!
Who?
Felicia! It's exactly 2:15. That's when she would always go on break. And that's her damn song.
Her what?
The song she always hums.
Detective Alfred approaches a woman who looks strangely similar to his murder victim.
Excuse me?
You minding my business? Because I don't need my business minded by you.
Not only is she spouting Felicia's catchphrase, she sounds exactly like her.
I'm generally not a big believer in people rising from the dead or any of that mystical stuff. But from this angle, it looks like Detective Alfred may be looking at a dead woman walking.
Cheyenne is a nurse who works at the same retirement home as Felicia. And that's where the similarities end.
Hey, sugar, how y'all today?
Good, thanks. You?
If God's in your heart, it's always a good day. Sweetie, I made some pralines for y'all. You better grab some before the next shift comes on.
While Felicia is crabby and crusty, Cheyenne is a ray of sunshine.
Yum. These are better than the last ones y'all made.
I put some extra butter and sugar in there and a little bit of nutmeg and some of my mama's vanilla.
She's been happily married for 20 years, enjoys singing in the church choir on Sundays, and doesn't drink anything stronger than sweet tea. And while Cheyenne knows who Felicia is, they work opposite shifts, and their paths rarely cross.
Hey, hon, new scrubs?
You minding my business?
But after Felicia's death, Cheyenne's sunny disposition starts to fade, and her husband notices some strange changes in her appearance.
I just thought you'd want something to drink, like perhaps some tea.
What you think this is?
I was just asking.
I ain't got time for this foolishness.
Cheyenne's colleagues also notice the change.
Good morning, Cheyenne.
Not from where I'm standing. You know, I'm sick and tired of all your cheerfulness and all your happy, joy foolishness. I'm at work, you're at work, and worse, we're here together.
You feeling okay, Cheyenne?
You minding my business? Because I don't need my business minded by you.
Not only is she starting to look like their murdered colleague Felicia, but she's starting to sound like her too.
Are you gonna move, or am I gonna make you move?
I'll move.
If you're anything like me, you're looking at Cheyenne and thinking, what the heck is going on? Here's a woman who barely knew Felicia, and she's basically taking on her personality now that she's dead. When people are under stress, they can exhibit personality changes. So maybe Cheyenne is in the middle of some kind of breakdown. That, or she's got an even sicker sense of humor than I do.
I ain't got no...
Despite the fact that Cheyenne has never touched a cigarette in her life, she begins to take regular smoke breaks at the exact time Felicia used to take hers.
Are you a man? Are you a man or a boy? Am I your wife or your mama? Make your own dinner for a change, fool. I'm going to the casino after work.
Nothing seems to crack Cheyenne's newfound hardened veneer until a friendly janitor crosses her path.
I'm so...
How y'all doing?
Get away from me. Get away from me.
So Cheyenne has gone from someone who's sweet as pralines and adored by all to a full-blown badass who isn't afraid of anyone. But she's suddenly terrified of a janitor who offers a friendly hello? This is obviously more than a stress-related issue. I'm no psychologist, but whatever it is, one thing's for sure. Cheyenne's got some serious issues going on.
Detective Alfred is frustrated by the lack of progress in the investigation until he receives a surprise visit from a local dentist in town.
How do you do, sir? I'm Dan.
Boy.
I wanted to talk to you about the murder of my wife's co-worker, Felicia.
Your wife know her well?
Well, no, but she seems to be really affected by her death. I think she might have some information.
Oh, really?
But before I go any further, can I ask you something?
Sure can.
I know this is gonna sound crazy, but do you believe in the afterlife?
Well, my mama was a believer, and my daddy thought it was hooey, so I'm about 50-50.
I made a recording of my wife, Cheyenne, last night.
My name is Felicia.
As crazy as it sounds, I fear she might be possessed with Felicia's spirit. She's basically transformed into a completely different person. And I'm starting to get a little scared.
Cheyenne also reveals some surprising information about Felicia's murder.
I know who killed me.
So Dan here is claiming that Cheyenne is possessed by Felicia's spirit. As an FBI agent, you're trained to be skeptical, but it doesn't take much effort here. A genteel Southern woman being possessed by a dead spinster spirit she never even knew? Okay, tell me another one.
2 weeks after Felicia is murdered in cold blood, a frightened and anxious Cheyenne has taken a leave of absence from work, claiming she's sick.
Get away from me. Stop it. Stop what are you doing?
Hi, Cheyenne. I'm Detective Alfred. Your husband here tells me you may have some information on Felicia's death.
My name is Felicia.
This is serious business.
He's murdered me! He's murdered me! Help me, please!
Who?
Bruno Beaumont!
Who's that?
I have no idea.
Okay, I've seen The Exorcist. I get it. Either Cheyenne is channeling Felicia and pointing the finger at her killer, or she's a nutcase who somehow believes she's become a dead woman. Either way, she's pointing to a potential suspect, and at this point, with no other solid leads, detectives have no choice but to look into it.
After questioning Cheyenne's colleagues, they learn that Bruno Beaumont is a janitor at the retirement home where she and Felicia worked.
you go, Tish.
Thanks, Bruno. You're the best.
He's known by all his co-workers as a gentle soul who's always ready to lend a helping hand.
So it's at the dog track. Oh, amazing. You got to go. You have to go. So I had one dog.
Bruno is one of the rare people Felicia tolerated.
It was a real long shot. Starting bet was 1,000. And my Greyhound won. I just got me $3,000 that day.
Oh, I haven't been to the races in ages.
What?
Makes me want to go.
You should go. It was too much fun.
But as far as anyone knew, they didn't associate outside of work.
Hand, please.
Can I have a smoke?
There'll be no smoking in here, ma'am.
I ain't got time for this foolishness.
Suspicious of Cheyenne's accusations, Detective Alford asks her to take a lie detector test.
Who killed you, Felicia?
Bruno, and he damn slit my throat.
In an attempt to catch Cheyenne in a lie, he feeds her false information.
How did Bruno break into your apartment?
He didn't break in, fool. I let him in.
Tripping people up with false details is a pretty good way for cops to figure out if a suspect is giving them the runaround. The problem is, it's not working. In fact, Cheyenne is giving investigators details about the crime that no one would know except Felicia and her killer. And this is getting creepy, even for me. By now, Detective Alford has got to be wondering if Cheyenne really does have a direct line to the other world.
Unable to prove Cheyenne is faking it, Detective Alford follows the only lead he has and takes a closer look at Bruno. He does a background check and learns Bruno's been arrested for shoplifting and domestic assault, but the charges never stuck.
Bruno, you've been bad.
Even if this guy hasn't been convicted of anything, this type of dodgy past is a red flag for investigators. So the next step is figuring out two things. Does the guy have motive and opportunity?
Zeroing in on their only suspect, detectives bring Bruno in for questioning.
All right. I understand that you've been a custodian at the retirement home for some time now.
Yeah.
You and Felicia ever see each other outside of work at all?
Yeah, I'd see her a few times. I'm a handyman, so I would go over to her house, fix some things. I do a lot of odds and ends for a lot of the single ladies I work.
Odds and ends, all right. Well, let's just cut to the chase here. Where were you the night of Felicia's murder?
Oh, yeah. Took my girlfriend out that night. Actually took her to the steakhouse, just down the street on Bourbon. Yeah, actually, you know what? Actually, I think I still have the receipt.
You still have the receipt?
Yeah, I like to keep all my receipts. There you go. Yeah, you could talk to her if you want. She'll tell you.
All right. I'll do that.
So at this point, detectives have got to figure out who's telling the truth. On one hand, Bruno had access to Felicia's apartment, but he also has an alibi. On the other hand, Cheyenne has details of the murder that by all rights, she shouldn't have. One of them's got to break, and it's Detective Alford's job to do the breaking.
Unsure who to believe, Detective Alford visits Cheyenne once more, hoping for a break in the case.
You is the daddy, fool. Kid number 6. Oh, Lord, trash. Why your sister don't mind her own business? Everybody's minding everybody's business, but...
Well, Cheyenne.
Why the hell you keep calling me Cheyenne? My name is Felicia.
All right. Is there anything more you can tell me about that night, Felicia?
Well, he stole my watch. That was my watch. That was my mama's watch, her mama before that. And he took it. It was gold with diamonds and red stones in every number. He killed me, and then that snake stole my watch. My cousin Ray can identify it.
Cousin Ray. Now, how can I get in touch with this Cousin Ray?
You heard telephones? Ray's number is...
She proceeds to give the exact phone number and address of Felicia's cousin Ray.
So this is starting to get a little spooky. I'm no sissy, but I will admit poltergeists kind of freak me out. And the stuff Cheyenne's spouting seem to be the facts that only Felicia would know. Either this lady is telling the truth or she's done her homework and she's an A student.
Detectives pay Bruno a visit at home.
All right, so let me get this straight. On the night of the incident, y'all went out for a birthday dinner.
See, I told you.
His girlfriend reconfirms their dinner date on the night Felicia was killed. But before Detective Alfred leaves, he notices something that turns the case on its head.
Where'd you get that? Let me see that.
Yeah, I kind of got that for her when we went out, just kind of commemorate the occasion. You know, she likes her jewelry. You know, great night out for dinner. Yeah.
That's Felicia's watch. Where'd y'all get it?
I bought it at a pawn shop.
Got a receipt for that?
I threw it away.
I thought you always kept them. I thought you were the receipt guy.
Okay, so let's recap. Stick with me on this one. Over here, we've got a guy with priors who may have just given his girlfriend a dead woman's watch. And over here, we have a semi-lucid psychic who's spouting details about a murder she had nothing to do with. This is probably where the saying, between a rock and a hard place, was born.
Looking to uncover the truth about the violent death of Felicia, Detective Alfred asks her cousin Ray to identify Felicia's watch. Ray sends Detective Alfred an email that seals the deal.
Nice try, Bruno. Nice try.
Detective Alfred has caught Bruno in a bold-faced lie. So here's where cops go in for the kill. I love this part. This never gets old.
Police up the ante and call Bruno down to the station.
Thanks for coming down again. Really do appreciate it. Now, before we begin, is there anything you'd like to get off your chest? One last chance?
No.
How about we get some fingerprints then?
I ain't got nothing to do with this, man.
Well, then y'all got nothing to worry about now, do you? Well, what do you know? Looks like your fingerprints are all over the crime scene.
I used to go over and fix stuff for her all the time. I'm sure my fingerprints are there.
Sensing weakness, Detective Alfred plays his ace.
Would they be on the knife that was used to slit her throat?
No.
Really? Because I got something here. Tells me different. Does this sound familiar, Bruno? Why would Bruno want to kill you?
Because he had a gambling debt, and I refused to lend him money.
Who's that?
That's your co-worker, Cheyenne.
How would she know that?
Is there something you want to tell me?
All she had to do was give me the money. That's all she had to do.
It looks like hearing Felicia's voice talking from the grave shocked Bruno into giving himself up. I'd never believe it myself if I didn't see it for myself. In fact, I still don't believe it.
Oh, yeah. I'll pay up. No problem, man.
Having gone into debt betting all his money on dog racing, Bruno's finally out of cash. And his bookie comes calling.
What, he wanted tonight? Oh, I don't know, man. No. Don't hurt her. Don't hurt her. I'll get it.
Bruno admits that the night of the murder, he shows up unexpectedly at Felicia's house.
Bruno, what are you doing here?
Hi. I need a favor.
Okay.
Bruno tells Felicia he's in a bind. He owes his bookie a wad of cash, and he has to pay up.
These people are bad people. I need anything that you can give me.
I ain't got no money for you.
I've seen rolls of cash tucked in every drawer of your house.
That's for my retirement. I can't lend you any money.
We've been friends since. I need money. You can't give me anything?
You can shout out on me all you want. You're not getting any money from me.
When Bruno's pleading doesn't work, he threatens Felicia.
You need to go. I'm calling the cops on you.
When she refuses to give in, Bruno snaps. He kills Felicia. Then robs her. And attempts to cover up the crime.
Money is the most common motive for murder, and stupid criminals in desperate situations usually have zero impulse control, which means they wind up making mistakes and getting caught. Bruno didn't go there to kill Felicia, but when she refused to help him, he lost it. So instead of having to deal with his bookie, Bruno's got to deal with a bunch of cops that can put him away for good. These losers will never learn.
Bruno is found guilty of murder and sentenced to life in prison. As soon as he's behind bars, the spirit of Felicia stops haunting Cheyenne and starts haunting Bruno.
No! 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 No!
Even if you don't believe in all this hocus-pocus stuff, the clues given by this so-called possessed woman led cops to the killer. So in my mind, we're left with two explanations. She either outsmarted the cops and solved the murder herself, but was too scared to point the finger at her colleague, or she really was possessed by the spirit of the victim, who used her as a medium to speak from beyond the grave. Look, you don't have to tell me it's cray-cray, like my kids say. Either way you look at it, justice was served. It might just make me a believer.